Oh yeah.
Hello everyone, what is up? My name's MVPerry, and today I wanted to talk about how to know if you're too old for anime. It's kind of funny just saying that because honestly, you can't ever be too old for anime. And I would say the same for a lot of things. You can't be too old for video games. You can't be too old for cartoons. You can't be too old for so many different things. But what I will say is for anime, it could be, are you old enough for it? You know, shows like Attack on Titan, definitely not stuff I would recommend for younger audiences. The thing is, there are certain anime that are better for younger audiences, and if you're not into that anymore, then yeah, maybe you are too old for that. Doraemon, Pokemon, Digimon, that kind of stuff. As fun as it is, you might just find yourself not really being into it. And you know, if you just can't get into it, that's a sign you're too old for that kind of anime. But there's a lot of different types of anime, so the older you get, there will always be something out there for you. That's why we have categories like shonen and seinen. Shonen meaning young boys, and seinen meaning older males. But you know, and that's the thing about those is it's not just for males. A lot of girls read this kind of stuff too. That's just how it's marketed. My cousin who's like 19 or whatever, all he reads is shoujo manga. And you know, shoujo technically means for young girls. But obviously he's not too old for it and he enjoys it very much. He's always recommending me which ones to read. But when you're watching an anime, the way it should be is you should be enjoying it, you should be into it, and you should want to see what happens next. If you find yourself actually getting annoyed or not necessarily wanting to see the next episode, that's kind of a sign that you're a little bit too old for this series, or not necessarily too old, maybe it's just not your kind of thing. My Hero Academia, for example, a lot of teens, it's the perfect thing for them, but I could picture a lot of older teens or adults just being like, this is a little bit too childish for me. Not to say that My Hero Academia is completely childish. I mean, there's a ton of stuff that happens there. Shigaraki literally just disintegrates people. Overhaul explodes them. I know that's not his power, but you know what I'm saying. It's obviously not for babies. And then we have the older anime like Neon Genesis Evangelion, for example. I actually would not recommend that to younger audiences. Not that they couldn't handle it. I think some younger teens could handle it technically, but they wouldn't be able to understand it even. Even Tokyo Ghoul, the manga at least, from what I remember, is on the border between seinen and shonen, so depending on the age, it will change if you're interested in it, or if it's too old for you, or you're too old for it, you know what I'm saying. Now here's one thing I wanted to talk about is who is deciding this? Who's deciding if you're too old for something? Because if it's yourself, that's fine. If you want to decide yourself that, I'm just too old for this, I'm not into it anymore, it's your loss, but hey, you can decide whatever you want. But if you're listening to the outside world, like other people saying, you shouldn't be reading manga anymore, you're too old for this, I don't think a grown man should be watching anime. You should not be listening to those voices. Those people are trash, they're toxic, don't let them get to you, just enjoy what you enjoy. Don't listen to other people like that. Like what you like and be confident. Now, there are times when people move on in life, so if you find yourself just not being into anime in general, not even like a particular anime, just anime overall, that's okay. It's okay to take a break, it's okay to move on. I myself actually took like a 2-year break from anime when I was like 11 and 12 years old. I know I was young. I was watching anime for a long time, guys, but somehow I decided to take a break. Once I came back, I just went super into anime mode. But if you find that you're not taking a break and you actually just want to move on, that's okay. There's other hobbies in the world besides just anime. There's gaming, there's movies, there's sports, there's gardening, there's all sorts of things to do. And if you decide that you'd rather do that kind of stuff, then I admit you probably are too old for anime. But if you find it calling you back again, then don't be afraid to come back. It's always here, it's always ready for you. But yeah, this brings me back to the very beginning, which is, I don't actually think you can ever be too old for anime. Just like the Lego box says like 0 to 99 or something like that. You know, there's nothing that's gonna stop you except peer pressure or the outside world. If you can get past that, if you can just be confident, I don't think there's any reason for you to ever be too old for something. That goes for anything. As always, my name's MVPerry, and I will see you in the next video.
二人飛んで夢をつかもう